Hello, welcome to episode 154 of the Book Binge, a little bit of a different video. I'm doing another top 5 ranking, but this one on a topic that I did not think I was going to be covering anytime soon and might come as a little bit strange that I'm covering it at all. That is the top 5 manga I want to read. Now, manga is not going to be anything that I think I make like regular or normal on the channel, but I do want to start incorporating a little bit of it into my reading over the next couple of years, and these are basically the 5 things that I more or less plan to start with sooner than say anything else. Like that's basically how I'm gonna go ahead and put this this video does not in any way mean that I'm turning into a manga channel. That is never going to happen. I might review some of the manga that I do read, but that's going to be very sparse, very few and far between. So if you clicked on this video thinking that, oh, a new manga tuber, I'm not going to be a good, reliable source of that, so don't get your hopes up. Basically, what that means is that you might see a handful or two of manga videos over the next few years total on my channel, where I'm releasing well over 100 videos a year. So like, yeah, that's not exactly going to be the place to come to if you want manga content, but like I said, I do want to give 1 or 2 a try over the coming years, and these are the 5 that I kind of want to start with. Let's go ahead and start off with, well, a warning that 3 of these 5 items I'm not actually going to be showing on screen because I don't own them yet, so I'm just going to show pictures here. Number 5 is going to be Vinland Saga by Makoto Yukimura, and sorry if I mispronounce any of these names or anything like that. I'm very, very American and very terrible at pronouncing anything that is not English, and very terrible at pronouncing most things that are English. So, you know, I'm not going to be pronouncing some of these names properly, I'm sure. The Vinland Saga is not quite complete yet, which does turn me off a little bit, but it is almost done, which has me looking forward to it. The historical fiction aspect of this story has me very interested in giving it a try, as well as the praise of some other booktubers similar to myself, people who don't read like a ton of manga, but who really enjoy Vinland Saga as it is as a story. That is one that I do want to try. Obviously, it's not the first one that I want to try because it's a little bit on the longer side and because it's not quite complete yet, but it might be on the longer end of what I'm willing to try anytime in what you could consider a near future scenario. Number 4 is going to be one that is completed. In fact, all the rest of the items on this list are completed. Goodnight Pun Pun by Inio Asano. The emotional and bipolar side of me is ready to be destroyed by this story if it clicks with me. I'm aware that there are some somewhat strange and weird things about it. I've been warned by that by a couple of friends, but those friends have also thought that it might be one of the manga that I would really click with if it clicks with me at all. So it is one that I do want to give a try. It is one that I actually plan on acquiring relatively soon, because as a 7 volume set, it's not actually that hard to get a full collection of, and you're not having to spend like that much money on it, relatively speaking. But it is one that I do want to get pretty soon and therefore try pretty soon. Like I said, apparently it's a little bit weird, but several friends of mine have really liked it. A couple of them have recommended it to me as such, so I'm willing to give it a try. Number 3 on this list is going to be one that's a little bit longer than Goodnight Pun Pun, and that is The Girl from the Other Side by Nagabe? Is that how that's pronounced? I'm sorry if I pronounced that incorrectly. This is apparently a little bit more like a traditional fable of sorts as far as the storytelling and elements go, and that seems really fun to me. It's part of the reason why it became an interest of mine. It's not too long, but it's also not super short either, like some of the other manga I want to try, so I definitely want to give this one a shot sooner rather than later too. I plan on picking up the first volume collection, the first collection, I guess, the first omnibus that I can get of this relatively soon, so that I can give this one a try. Number 2 on this list will be the first of the 2 items on here that I do already own. You'll have seen this in the thumbnail if you saw it. This is Uzumaki by Junji Ito. At the top of the list of horror manga for me, for sure. This author in general is one that I do want to give a big shot as far as manga is concerned, because plenty of it really interests me. I'm not quite ready to go into this one quite yet, maybe in a couple of months, but I am also very curious about it. Regardless, it is one that seems right up my alley if it clicks. I really enjoy horror stories and being able to explore manga through that sort of medium, and body horror, certain aspects of horror that I tend to like but might find a little bit weird in certain circumstances. We'll see how it goes. It could be a fun time. It is one that I'm certainly looking forward to. And number one on this list is one that I'm actually going to be giving a shot very soon. It's a really short one. This is Goodbye Eri by Tatsuki Fujimoto. I already mostly know the story of this one. I kind of got spoiled by it by watching a video about it by a channel on YouTube called Daryl Talks Games. I forget exactly which video it was he talked about this one. It's the reason I became interested in reading the story in the first place. I've forgotten some of the details, thankfully, by now, but it is one that I do mostly know. So it's one volume, very short volume at that. I basically already know it's going to happen for the most part, so it's one that it should be pretty easy and low commitment for me to try very soon. I might even be reading this over the next couple days at the time that I'm recording this video, so it should still be a fun romp regardless, and going to be the first manga that I actually read in full. As for some notable exclusions that some people might be inclined to ask me about, don't get your hopes up about a couple of these. I'm just going to lay it out right now. On the topic of One Piece, it's way too freaking long. I'm sorry. Notice that all but one of the manga on my list are really short, 12 or less volumes. And I also mentioned when I talked about Vinland Saga earlier, it's on the longer end of what I'm willing to try in the near future. So One Piece obviously does not qualify as something that I'm willing to try right now. Also, I'm one of those folk that doesn't really like the art style. I can't really stand it. That's a personal problem, I know. I'm sorry again, but One Piece is one of my prime examples why I have tended to avoid manga and anime, especially from a visual perspective. Of course, like that's a broad brush to stroke against an entire medium just on account of one manga, but given that One Piece is like the biggest media as far as manga and anime are concerned for years at this point, and like if you mention them at all, like somebody's going to mention One Piece, it's not one that I want to try. On the topic of Berserk, the other notable exclusion from this list, also a little bit too long for me to try right now. This is not one that I'm completely crossing off the list like I am more or less with One Piece. Berserk is one that I'm going to cross off for right now for a couple of reasons. It's really violent and dark. I don't feel like doing that in this medium until I'm a little bit more comfortable with the medium in the first place. Stuff like Junji Ito is a little bit more my speed to try to get to start. We'll see how things go on that front. But the main thing right now with Berserk is that it's incomplete. I know that it is incomplete on account of the original author having passed away, but that it is being continued by somebody else. But the fact that it is incomplete definitely has me like not really wanting to start it right now. Vinland Saga could very well be done by the time I release this video, depending on what I do with it. I haven't actually researched how close Vinland Saga is to being done since like 7 or 8 months ago, so like I have no idea how close it is to being finished, but like it's not that far away, and by the time I'm willing to give it a shot after going through say the other 4 items on this list, maybe it will be done. So that's why I'm able to include that one on the list by excluding Berserk for now. Just to reiterate on both of these points, I might one day do Berserk, but not anytime soon, and definitely not before it's confirmed finished. And I'm definitely not going to do One Piece anytime that I foresee, like, at all. So, like, I'm sorry to disappoint some of you people watching this video for sure, but some of those of you who have read the other 5 of these manga that I've talked about, let me know how you feel about them in the comments below. Like I said, I'm not going to become a manga channel, but I do plan to incorporate a couple of these into my reading schedule in the near-ish future, so these are the ones that I'm going to give a try. Let me know some of your other recommendations that are not One Piece and Berserk, as I've already talked about. Things that maybe if you've been watching the channel, things that I might like based off of my regular book reading habits and desires and interests, I would appreciate some of that feedback. As of right now, however, I'm going to go ahead and take off from this video. Next Tuesday, I'll have a review of this fine little trilogy here, and that's going to be a fun video to record basically right now as soon as I'm done recording this. But thank you guys for watching. I'll be back regardless in the next video.